So hello guys. So 400 block is resting on a rough horizontal surface for which a coefficient of friction is 0.4. Determine the force P required to cause motion to impend if applied to the block. So condition A, kung yung P daw natin is horizontal. So ito yung figure natin sa A. So ito yung kunyari yung force natin horizontally. So kapag umapply tayo ng force, ibig sabihin there is opposing force. So yan yung frictional force. And considering na yung mu or yung coefficient of friction natin is 0.4. So let's find the value of P. So to find the value of P, it is simply summation of f of x equals 0. So P is equal to frictional force. But hindi natin alam yung value ng frictional force. So ano yung formula ng frictional force? So frictional force is equals to mu times the normal force. Okay, so ito na yung formula ng frictional force. But hindi rin natin alam yung normal force. So let's find first the normal force in this figure. So summation f of y equals 0. So yung normal force natin is equals to 400 pound. And once na-determine na natin yung 400 pound, we can substitute the normal force to the formula of frictional force. So Ff is equals to mu natin sa problem is 0.4 times the normal force na 400. So yung frictional force natin 160 pound. And since alam na natin yung frictional force, we can substitute na ito sa summation f of x natin. So therefore, yung value ng P natin is also 160 pound. So ito na yung answer natin sa letter A. Ano ang ibig sabihin na yun? So sa madaling salita, kailangan daw natin magkaroon ng 160 pound na force para magsimulang gumalaw itong block sa surface na may coefficient of friction na 0.4. Meaning to say, kapag yung force applied mo is below or mas mababa sa 160 pound, yung tendency ng object is hindi gagalaw. But if you apply 160 or greater than that, dyan na magsisimula yung paggalaw ng ating block sa surface ng ating problem. Proceed na tayo sa B. So, draw natin yung free body diagram ng B. Ito na yung figure B natin. So, yung pinagkaiba lang nila is yung approach ng P. So, sa condition ng B, yung P daw natin is downward at may angle na 30 degrees from the horizontal. So, yung gagawin natin dito is ganun din sa ginawa natin sa A. Paano natin ma-identify yung P? So, simply summation f of x equals 0. So, we have P, yung x component, cosine 30, then minus frictional force equals 0. So, yung P natin, cosine 30 is equals to frictional force. Divide natin both sides by cosine 30. So, P natin is frictional force over cosine 30. However, hindi natin alam yung value ng frictional force. But may formula tayo para makuha yan. So, frictional force is equals to mu times the normal force. Yung mu natin sa problem is 0.4. And then yung normal force natin is unknown din. Meaning, standby muna yung equation na to. So, let's find first the normal force. So, summation f of y equals 0. So, we have n minus 400 and yung y component ng p is p sine 30 equals 0. So, ilipat natin to sa kabila. So, yung n natin ay may value na 400 plus p sine 30. So, ito na yung gagamitin nating n dito sa frictional force. Substitute lang natin yung n. So, dito natin solve. So, frictional force is equals to 0.4 times yung n natin, 400 plus p sine 30. Simplify lang natin. 0.4 times 400 is 160. And 0.4 times p sine 30 is 0.2 p. Meron na tayong temporary value ng frictional force na pwede nating i-substitute dito sa P natin. So, P is equals to, instead of writing frictional force, ito na yung susulat natin. So, 160 plus 0.2P over cosine 30. So, yung P natin is equals 184.75 plus 0.2 divide cosine 30 is 0.23P. We have P minus 0.23P is equals to 184.75. So, may 1 ito. So, 1 minus 0.23 is equals to 0.77P. Then, divide natin both side by 0.77. P is equals 239.9, or approximately P is equals to 240 pound. So, ibig sabihin, we simply need much higher value of P para mapagalaw natin itong object sa surface na may coefficient of friction na 0.4. So, compare sa naunang problem na yung P sa A is horizontally. So, yung value ng A natin, value ng P sa A natin is 160 pound. However, sa figure B, kapag ang force applied natin is below and naka-angle ng 30 degrees below the horizontal, kailangan natin ng value ng force na applied na 240 pound in order na mapagalaw itong box sa kanyang pwesto. Pag yung in-applied mo dito is below 240, let's say 200 pound lang, hindi gagalaw yung ating box sa condition na yung P is downward at 30 degrees. So, kailangan natin ng much higher value or equal to this para mag-impend or magsimulang mag-move yung ating block sa kanyang pwesto.